In the last video, we discussed what a service is and its architecture, and we have learned that a service communication has a server and a client. In this video, we are going to code a service server in C++, and we are going to use a service already present in ROS package, which is the ROS tutorial AddTwoInts service. This service helps you to understand better how a service works, and you can exercise with it by creating a client and asking this service to make the sum of two integers. You can see the raw message definition deeply from the last video. Before starting, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification if you wanted to benefit from a one-to-one discussion on your ROS application. And now let's get started. Open a new terminal and open Visual Studio Code in the directory of the package that we have created in this series of video, which is, I remember you, node_practice. Then create a new file and name it service_cpp.cpp. So in order to maintain the convention we have used so far. Here we have our new blank script ready to be coded in Service Server, of course, in C++. So let's start to do it. First of all, as always, you need to include our ROS libraries, and then include the service library, which is gonna be rospy_tutorial and AddTwoInts.h. We need to create our main section. Inside the main section, we need, as always, to initialize the node. And we're gonna call it AddTwoInts Service Server. Then, in C++, I remember that you need to create a node handle object that allows you to interact in the easiest way with the node. Then we hit the core of this node, which is the creation of the service server object. To do that, let's type ROS Service Server. Then we create an object and we call it service, equal to advertise service, then the name of the service and the callback function, which we can call handle callback. So in this case, the name of the service will be AddTwoInts. Remember that. We're gonna use it later, and we're gonna use it in the client node. Finally, we need to put the spin function and allows your node to do the main section continuously unless you kill the node. It's some kind of an infinite while loop. Okay, so after we need to create our callback function, and in C++ it's gonna give us output a boolean value, and it receives as an input the request variables and the response, which are the messages contained in the structure of the service itself. So we are gonna create a request object and a response object too. The first, we're gonna call it rec, and the second, we're gonna call it res. And now we can create a variable where we make our sum of the variable that the client is asking for. Finally, we need to associate a number to the response of the service. Remember that from the raw message definition, the response is called sum. So we need to type res.sum and associate the variable we have calculated before. If we want to visualize it on the command line, we can use the ROS info function. And it's going to display the sum of the two integers that we have asked before. Finally, since it is a callback function and it returns a Boolean variable, we need to return true. Here we go. We have written our service server node. When a client is asking this service, and the name of the service is AddTwoInts, the client has to give two integers, a and b, and the service performs the sum and return the result from the service variable sum. I hope that it's clear. If it's not clear, don't hesitate to write down in the comment below. Since it is a C++ file, we need to ask CMake to create an executable file from the script that we have just written. So, open CMakeList and add the executable and target link libraries. We can call the executable with the same name as the C++ files. Then we need to add the dependency, ROS pp, ROS py, and standard message we already added when we have created the package. So now let's add another line and we're gonna add ROS py tutorials. Then we need to modify the package.xml file and we need to add the build depend tag, the build export depend tag, and the executable depend tag. When you have done, we are ready to test the service via command line. But first, you need to execute the package by typing catkey make. Then, in order to run your nodes, you first need to run the ROS master by typing, I remember you, ROS core in a new terminal. Then you open another terminal and run the service server node. This service is waiting for a client that is calling the server by raising a request. So that's why you don't see nothing. So we need to create a client. And you can call this service via two ways. One from a command line, and this terminal will be our client, or via another client node that we are going to code in the next video. So now let's open another terminal and use the command line as a client. First, to call the service, before to call the service, let's check what are the services that are running. And we can see that we have AddTwoInts service. So now we are going to raise a request to the service by typing ROS Service call the name of the service, that is going to be AddTwoInts. And then you need to type tap for autocompilation, and we just needed to put two integers, one for A and another for B. Then, if we press enter, we have the response that is stored in the message named sum. And if we see the node of the service, we can see that thanks to the ROS info function that we have written before, it is displaying the results on the terminal. So that's all for today. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to not miss the opportunity to have a one-to-one discussion if you face some troubles in learning ROS. This is a good opportunity that I would suggest you to don't let pass by. Thanks for your attention and keep learning robotics with ROS.